Hey YouTube, it's Dragonfire here, coming at you with the ban list that Mega Capital G posted, which, since seeing as how it's in V-Jump, it seems to be the legitimate one. Again, it's not confirmed until Konami actually posts it, but by the looks of it, I'm gonna like this format. But that's mainly because, well, dragons got hit hard. Anyway, starting off with the ban cards would be every single one of the baby dragons. I am surprised they went this far to hit the deck. I mean, they maybe the babies made the deck what it is. It wouldn't be half as bad if the babies had never been released. But hitting the babies hits the adults an insane amount. You can't run the main Dragon Ruler deck. You can still run the adult Dragon Rulers in other attribute decks, but it's probably not going to pan out as well. But anyway, the deck is dead. We no longer have to worry about people playing it on DN once September 1st starts. Next up, Spellbook of Judgment. Yes. 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 This card. Oh my god. I don't know why this card was made. This card needed to be hit. It should have been banned as soon as it came out. I mean, going insanely plus, I mean, the best I've seen is +9 when it first came out by AznEyesWhiteDragon. But it's just way too good. You opened really well with this card. You just went insanely plus. And, well, no one will have to worry about facing spellbooks unless it's the regular version without this broken card. Because spellbooks are still playable. Like, Secrets wasn't hit, Magician of Prophecy wasn't hit, nothing else was hit except for this card. So the deck is still viable. Sorry. Deck is still viable. It can still has options, and people won't have to sell their entire deck now that this card is banned. They'll just need to use a little thought to make their deck to make prophecies better without it. Next up, onto the limited. I'm surprised that Rooster got hit, seeing as how it just came out in Judgment of Light a week ago in the TCG. And I laughed because I saw this card was $80 when it came out, and that was just insane. Bear was that much, for crying out loud. But this card is really good. I played a 3 or 4 axis Fire Fist. I'm not exactly sure the difference between all the decks. I played it. This guy went ridiculous. Summoned a Horse Prince and just went off. So I don't really. If anything, I'd like this. I would have liked this card to get hit. Tenki is still playable. Tenki is fortunately still at 3, so the Sorcerer is good. Just need to play the. I'd rather play the Xyz Fire Fists. I like Bear, Gorilla, Dragon, all them. Next up, I'm gonna touch both of these at the same time. It's Birdman and Divine Wind of Mist Valley. There is an FTK that's popular in the OCG, from what I gather, that abuses these two cards. That's a better word. So I'm not sure why I hit both. I mean, Birdman. Okay, I can see Birdman, but Divine Wind of Mist Valley. That hurts. That kind of hurts Harpies as well. Hurts Harpies. What other ones? Well, mainly Harpies. But yeah, with this you can't really use this one. You can't really use Dancer anymore. Well, you can, but just one of them. One Divine Wind, but that's all you get. They can MST, and then you can't go as well as you want. Next up, Murmillet Bistius. I wasn't expecting this one, but I can see why, because Gunday is ridiculous. This is also a searcher for the deck, and it's rather easy to summon. I mean, I think people run about 2 of these, 2 or 3, maybe 3 in their Mermail decks. But discarding them with Gun, you essentially get 2 special summons. Yeah, because Gund, when it's discarded, you get a special summon, I believe. Yeah, You special summon a Mermail from your deck by discarding it. Using it with Abyssius, that's if you have another level 7, that's an instant rank 7, usually Abyss because Abyss is amazing. Next up, I didn't expect this one either. Wind Up Shark. However, this is more of a problem card than Wind Up Magician, which went to 3. So they basically traded places. Wind Up Shark sets off all of the Wind Up effects. It sets Factory off. It sets Magician off. I mean, even having 2 sharks in your hand, that's an instant rank 3, 4, or 5, which is still amazing. Running one shark is more of a problem than Magician was, because you can hit you can Veiler Magician. Shark, you can't Veiler since it activates in your hand. So just summon a Wind Up and then just go off. Because you're actually less likely to use Magician Shark plays because you have 1 shark. Magician at 3 is not as good as Shark at 3. Because you're not going to run more than 2 Magicians at least. Next up, Super Rejuvenation. That's overkill because the babies were banned. But this also hits Heretics to an extent because a good Heretic deck can tribute 3 or 4 times on a turn. This replenishes your hand, which it's needed because I know they run cards like Card D and whatnot. But yeah, with the babies gone, this card could have stayed at 3. I don't think people would have cared. Except Abyssphere. This is one of the cards I called when I was listing all the Mermail cards that could get hits. This is a decent hit because I don't know anyone else, but I hate it when I use MST on a back row and it's Abyssphere. I mentioned that in the last video. It's like, oh, it's Abyssphere. Okay, go for Lind. It's not Abyss Megalo. So, but also works with Pike. Works to get you a Megalo that you can Xyz with. So anyway, goes to 1. Mermails are still good even with 1 Abyssphere. So just need to think about it a little more. Anyway, up to 2. Gladiator Beast Bestiary. I also called this, and I'm happy it is. Gladiator Beast getting Bestiary is a huge boost back. They needed a little something back. Oh wait, I forgot a couple limited cards. Sorry about that. Anyway, Rejoice the Heavens, Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier is back. I am ecstatic about this. I'm grinning from ear to ear because I was able to buy one for $10 before this list was confirmed. I am ecstatic. I get to use this card finally because I wasn't playing when it was legal. Actually, no, I was playing when it was legal, but I wasn't able to get one. I didn't even know what the card was. So I think people will be happy that they get their Trishula back. And Synchro decks we'll probably see in a lot more plays since this is probably one of the best Synchros ever made that's not entirely broken. Also limited, another smack to E-Dragon's Big Eye to 1. This Big Eye, I'd be fine with Big Eye limited or banned, to be honest. It's stealing your monster. No one likes having their monster stolen. Big Eye ruined a lot of plays. If you were able to counterattack and not able to OTK, they just say, okay, Big Eye, take your monster, and then hit you back. So, glad to see this card is finally at 1, so we don't need to worry about it as much. Anyway, sorry for that mistake about forgetting these 2 new limited cards. Onto more semi-limited. Scores the Emissary of Darkness. Oh boy. Because I didn't really see when Dragon Rulers and Prophecy were used, I didn't see Gore's main deck all that often. I used it in some decks, but even so, it wasn't all that great because, okay, Big Eye, take it. Or take your token even, depending on how strong it is. Just Gore's at 2. I think it's a little better. He's not as good as he used to be. I think there's a lot more back row in the format now. So we'll just have to wait and see how that turns out. Next up, Neospatian Grand Mole at 2. I hate this card at 1, but it's still a fun card. It's so troll. It's troll, but you need the attack to get through, which with well another new new unlimited card, it's not going to be as easy to do. But you can Veiler this, but I don't know. It should be fun to see because anti-meta decks are now getting a little bit of a boost because this card is amazing in anti-meta. Except, oh my god, Black Whirlwind to 2. I'm glad I got one when I did. Now I don't have to worry about trying to find a second Black Whirlwind when the format starts. This card, it needed to be a more than one. It's not nearly as good as Wind Up Factory is. Blackwings need a little bit of a boost, and since it's a prime synchro deck, I think it may start to see a little bit more play because Trishula's back. Anyway, on to the Unlimits. I already talked about Wind Up Magician, but no one cares this card went back to 3. It was doing almost nothing. The only time I really saw it was at the Worlds tournaments when the Dragon Ruler player was using this card. But actually used it rather well. So Tsukiyomi is usable, but I don't think people are really going to be using it because the only deck is really viable in it is Dragon Rulers because it doesn't use... Dragon Rulers just doesn't use the normal summon. So you can just use your normal summon, flip over a Jowgen or another problematic card, and just go on with your explosive plays, and then bring them back to your hand just in case they're able to do it again on the next turn. Next up, Advanced Ritual Arts. Well, I know when this card went to 2 last format, I saw a few Herald decks. Heralds is a rather interesting deck. I'm not sure how much play it's going to see because, well, Ophion exists. And Ophion just kills ritual decks. You get Ophion out, they're like, okay, basically scoop because there's not much they can do to an Ophion. So it'll be interesting to see what people do with Advanced Ritual Art at 3. So it's gonna have to wait and see. Next up, E-Call of 3. That's fine. It's, in my opinion, heroes have plenty of search, so it's gonna a lot of search. They're gonna be able to get the cards whenever they want. I'm not sure how much room, if there's gonna be any room for a third emergency call nowadays, but it's not a bad unlimits. And hey, heroes may see more play this format. Next up, Duality. I also called this one, but this card, it's last format I think people realize that this card is really slow. I mean, you're not able to, if you are not playing Dragon Rulers, your deck is already relatively slower than they are. But Duality just slows you down since you're not able to do any key special summoning to get like a Zenmains or something on the field to protect you. Although Zenmains wouldn't do much against Big Eye, but that's beside the point. So Duality at 3. I'm not sure people are going to be running it at 3, probably 1 or 2, depending on the deck. I mean, okay, Fire Fist can use it. Glad Beast can use it. There's quite a few decks that can use Duality, but we'll just have to wait and have to see who's going to use it. Except Scapegoat go to 3. This is one I'm not sure how I feel about. I mean, it's a stall card. I think Burn just got a bit of a boost by this card going to 3, but in regular decks, probably not going to play it. One thing is probably the D-Hero Plasma deck, but probably not going to last long. But I know Mecha Fanabeast can use this card, but running this card at 3 is not ideal because you almost never have enough space to use it. My last unlimit is Mirror Force. Oh boy. I like this card at 2. This card is probably not going to be that fun at 3. But this is probably going to be a bit of a back row format. So need to be aware and be careful when going all out. Just in case they have one face down, ta-da, it's Mirror Force. But yeah, Mirror Force helps counteract with Grand Mole. But you may want to use your Mirror Force on Grand Mole since you don't want to really lose lose your powerful Xyz or Synchro, go back to the extra deck and have to bake it again. But yeah, that's it for the list. I like this. I don't think I'm gonna like this format. I mean, no Dragon Rulers, spellbooks aren't gonna be as big of an issue. My Black Wings have gotten a bit of a boost. I'm probably gonna be using Gladiator Beast once I can finish the deck in real life. And Heroes, I just need to get a few more fusions, and I'll run that deck as well. I mean, this format is probably going to be really good. It's going to be a lot slower than last format, but that's not saying much because Dragon Rulers made it ridiculous. But yeah, I'm not sure how many duels I'm going to be doing still in this current format. I'm probably going to just do a handful of recordings up until then. So, but this next format, I think is going to be really fun. I think it's not going to be nearly as bad. But anyway, guys, talk to you later, and I'll see you in the next video, and have fun next formats.